Hey guys, so no preamble this week, no massive rambling this week, and no introduction this week other than saying that I have no introduction, so I'm just going to get right into it here. National pride and national identity are very, very strange things for me to talk about because I don't really know where I fall nationally, if you will. I was born and raised and currently live in the same town that I always have, and it's a place that not many people have heard of, including some government agencies have actually never heard of my town, and so we have to say that we're citizens of the next city over, which is just ridiculous. But I live in a very unknown town in a very, very American part of Canada, and so my national identity and my national pride is confused, to say the least. I mean, I've always been a Canadian, and I will likely always be a Canadian, no matter where I go. I will always consider myself to be Canadian, but not as much as other people, which is probably a strange thing for me to say. But I mean, when I think of Canadians, I don't think of people from my area. I think of people from farther up north in Ontario, or anywhere east and west, or even farther up north into the territories, and that's what I think of when I think Canadian. I don't think of my area because we're actually surrounded by America. If you go down my road and then turn, you can see Detroit. Anywhere in my town, you can see Detroit. If you go to my university, it's right across the river. And it's so close that I become Americanized, and I always say that I really don't consider myself to be a huge Canadian because I'm so Americanized. I use feet and inches sometimes, I use Fahrenheit, and I use a bunch of different American things, and so I don't consider myself to be as Canadian as someone like Katie, because my entire life I've been influenced by people that are American, and by American ideals, and by American media, and American politics, and all these things that constantly affect my area because we're so close. So I don't consider myself to be purely Canadian, but I don't consider myself to be American by any means, not at all, because I've never lived there. I've only been to the States maybe a dozen times in my entire life. So I don't really consider myself to be American, but I don't consider myself to be wholly Canadian either, which is just strange. It kind of leaves this gap in my national identity where I don't know where I fit in nationally, because I'm not fully Canadian, but I'm not American. What else am I? As for national pride, my national pride only ever comes out in things like my Tim Hortons video on my main channel, or when the Olympics come around, which I also talked about in that video, where I have a sense of national pride come out in me, which is very, very strange because it never happens. I feel like I bottle it up, and then every few years I'm able to release this pride for my country through the Olympics, through cheering for my own teammates, and for people who are representing a great country in which I live. And I think that's what a lot of my national pride comes from, is the fact that I'm thankful to live in a place that is safe and beautiful and has many opportunities, and I'm thankful and lucky to be here, because a lot of people don't have the opportunities that I do, and a lot of people don't have the life that I have because they were born in a different place. It is a great place, and I want to take advantage of that more. As I get older, I want to explore Canada a little bit more, and I want to live here more than I want to go to the States, say, or anywhere else. I want to explore Canada because it's where I was born, and I feel like I should take part of it, and take part in it, and take advantage of it, and be there, as opposed to just kind of sitting on the sidelines of Canada watching from the outside, which is kind of what I feel like sometimes. So I don't really have a national identity other than being kind of Canadian by default, and I don't really have much national pride except every few years where it randomly comes out. But I am very lucky to be here, and I'm very happy to be here, and I think that James and Spencer should feel the same way, because even though America often has bad stereotypes associated with it and has some negative views pointed at it, it's still a great place to be. You should just be happy about that, I suppose, and not stop worrying about what other people feel about your country, because that doesn't matter, really. Although I have been taught in the past, which really doesn't apply to me, but if you're an American and you go out traveling, it is said that you're supposed to say you're Canadian instead of American. Fun fact. James, I'll see you tomorrow. Please leave challenge suggestions for James down below, and I will see you next week. Bye.